reliability test in Excel using Cronbach's alpha formula for a Likert scales that has 2 up to 11 point. So from 2 to 11 point Likert scale for questionnaire or a survey. Cronbach's alpha or alpha coefficient was developed by Cronbach in 1951. The alpha or the test describe the consistency of items. It does examine whether questionnaire would reproduce the similar participant outcomes if it was repeated under the similar conditions. The alpha refers to how closely related a set of items or questions in a survey. It assesses the reliability of items, and it does measure the internal consistency for items. The alpha also measures the internal relatedness of the items. The alpha coefficient have a reliability range from 0 to 1. If all items are not related, then alpha equal to 0. If all the items co-vary, then alpha is close to 1. Cronbach's alpha increases as the intercorrelations among test items increase. The Cronbach's alpha scores of a 0.9 or equal to 0.9 or greater indicates excellent reliability, and an alpha value of less than 0.5 means low reliability. Cronbach's alpha formula is built on the Couders-Richardson 20 formula. It can be used for the analysis and finding and testing the reliability of a data that is based on a scaled responses, such as Likert scaled items from 2 up to 11 point Likert scale. The formula also can be used for continuous variables such as ratios or intervals. It can also be used for determining the reliability for a data that is or are binary. So it is suitable to be used for binary variables such as multiple choice questions or a dichotomous variable that have two options, yes or no. The formula for the Cronbach's alpha as given here is equal to k divided by k minus 1 multiplied by 1 minus, between bracket 1 minus the sum of the variance on the upper part for the items divided by the variance for the total score in the lower part. So from this formula, the k represent the total number of items, and the variance I represent the variance associated with each item. and the variance T is the variance linked to the observed total score. In the next slide, a reliability reference table shows the Cronbach's alpha value ranges from 0 to 1 and the reliability level for that value. Reliability test in Excel for 5 points or 2 point Likert scale questionnaire or survey. The test is based on the Cronbach's alpha equation. Reliability test in Excel for 5 point Likert scale questionnaire or survey using the Cronbach's alpha equation. The equation is given below as alpha equal to k divided by k minus 1. K stands for the total number of questions or items in a survey or a questionnaire. Then this is multiplied by a bracket 1 minus the upper part of the formula is the sum of the variance for all the items, the sum of the variance of the items or questions, and that value is divided by the variance for the total score. So the reliability test is a way of measuring the internal consistency of an item. It will test how reliable is the questionnaire or a survey if it has been repeated on a different date and different time with the same participant. Their score or their response will be similar in different time period. That is the essence of doing reliability test for a questionnaire and a survey. It is an essential step, a preliminary step when an individual is designing a questionnaire or a survey to test how reliable is the survey or the questionnaire or as a whole the whole survey. The way to do that in Excel, I have here inserted a sample of a response taken from a questionnaire or a survey that has been given to 20 participants answering 20 different questions or items from item number 1 to item number 20. And the score or the responses of each individual participant was scaled on the 5-point Likert scale from 1 to 5. 1 indicates that the participant is strongly disagreeing, and a value of 5 means that the participant is strongly agreeing, and the value of 3 reflects a neutral respond toward the item or a question. So here we have a data that is called ordinal, so it's an order from 1 to 2, 3, 4, 5. And to determine the reliability of the test, to perform a reliability test for this survey or questionnaire, we're going to use the Cronbach's alpha formula given here. And the way to do that is first in this column going to generate a new column or data, call it total score. So in this column we're going to calculate the total score achieved by each individual participant, i.e. combining the scores or the responses from each each individual participant for all the questions. And the way to do that is to click on the cell here, then click on the sum here, and then select the range from item number 1 to item number 20 and hit the enter key. A value of 51 is generated. To autofill and auto calculate the total score for the rest of the participants, select the cell here, drag, hold and drag, and then release. A value is generated for each individual participant. The next step is to calculate the variance for each individual item or question, and then the variance for the total score. And the way to do that is in this cell, insert the equal sign and then type variance and select the variance S for sample. So we are going to select the variance, calculate the variance for a sample, as here we have a sample. If you double click on that and then select the range of the data for the 20 participant here for the item number 1 and hit the enter key, a value is generated for the variance for the first item. To auto fill and auto calculate the value of the variance for the rest of the questions, select, hold, drag, and I'm going to drag it toward the ends, as we are also here going to calculate the variance for the total score in addition to the variance for each individual item or questions. So now we had calculated the total score variance, and then we have calculated the individual variance for each individual item. The next step is to add the variance for the items, so for these 20 items. And the way to do that here is select this cell, then click on this sum symbol, and then select the range for the value to add all the variance together. And if you hit the enter key, a value is generated for the sum of the variance for the items. And since we have here the variance for the total score, I'm going to select, right click, copy, and then I'm going to paste that here next to this symbol of variance for total score. And if I click on the link here, the value is inserted in this cell, and I'm going to label this as, let's call it I or T for total, since it's a total. So we're going to select this, and hopefully we try to make it a subscript. Click on OK. So we have now the value for this total variance for the total score. For the K represent the total number of items or questions, and since here we have 20, I'm going to insert number 20. So now we have all the values for calculating the Cronbach's alpha and the value for all the part of the equation or parts of the equation. The way to calculate and determine the value for the Cronbach's alpha, in this cell, insert the equal sign and then open a bracket, add 20 divided by 19, close the bracket, insert a multiplication sign, then open a bracket, insert number 1, then minus sign, then select the upper part value of the formula, which is this one. This will be divided by the lower part, which is the variance for the total score. Close the bracket and hit the enter key. A value of 0.81 is generated. This value here, which I'm going to label red, is the reliability value, Cronbach's alpha value. So what does this value mean, 0.81? This value means that this survey is 81% 100% reliable. If we refer this value into this table and look at this table, which shows the Cronbach's alpha value and the level of reliability. As we can see here, when the alpha value is equal to 0.9 or greater than 0.9, then the questionnaire or the survey is excellent in reliability. A survey is considered to be good in reliability if the value of alpha is from 0.8 to 0.89, and a questionnaire is acceptable when the value is from 0.7 to 0.79. A questionnaire is questionable in reliability when the value for alpha is from 0.6 to 0.69, and the reliability is poor when the value ranges from 0.5 to 0.59, and the survey will be unacceptable. The reliability will be unacceptable, or the survey is unacceptable in reliability when the value for the alpha is less than 0.5. And since our value here is 0.81, which is in this range, so the survey or the questionnaire have a good reliability. So this is the way to perform a reliability test in Excel and generate a value. The value of the reliability is based on the Cronbach's alpha formula given here, and the value ranges from 0 to 1. 0 means that the survey or the questionnaire is unreliable. 1 means that the questionnaire or survey is extremely reliable. And reliability test in Excel using Cronbach's alpha equation for 2-point Likert scale questionnaire survey. 2-point Likert scale is a scale based on the participant will have only 2 options to select from, whether they agree or disagree with the statement or the question. And the way to do reliability test in Excel is to use the formula here, which is given below for the Cronbach's alpha, that is equal to K divided by K minus 1. K stands for the total number of items or questions. This is multiplied by the bracket 1 minus the upper part, which is the sum of the variance for each individual item or question, divided by the variance for the total scores achieved by each individual participant. To do the reliability test in Excel for 2-point Likert scale, I had placed in this Excel sheet data taken from an answer or a response for only 20 participants in a survey or questionnaire, trying to give their opinion and responses or an answer to 20 items or questions from Q1 to Q20. Their responses was scored as either 0 or 1. 1 indicate that they agree with the question or the statement, and 0 indicates that they disagree with the statement or the question. So the data we have here is a dichotomous data, only 2 options, 0 or 1, or categorical data. And to determine the reliability of test, the Cronbach's alpha formula here can be used to determine the reliability of this survey or questionnaire, and to assess the quality of this survey and whether this survey is reliable if it has been repeated on different time or dates with the same selected number of participants, their responses will be similar. That is the essence of performing reliability test for a questionnaire or a survey. It is an essential step when designing and preparing a questionnaire for either a research purpose or non-research purpose. The way to do the reliability tests in Excel is, first of all, we're going to calculate the total score, which is the total responses that's scored by each individual participant. And the way to do that, in this column, I'm going to type total score, and then in the cell below I'm going to add all the responses of each individual participant, add the scores for the responses for the first participant, combine them together to generate a value for the total score. The way to do that is to select the sum function here, select the range of the data from question number 1 to question number 20, hit the enter key, a value is generated for the total score or total responses of the first participant. To autofill and auto-calculate the rest of the total score for the rest of the participants, select, hold, and then drag, and then release, and the software will auto-calculate and auto-fill the total scores achieved by each individual participant. The next step is to calculate the upper part of this formula here, which is the sum of the variance for each individual item or question and the variance for the total score. And the way to do that is in this cell, insert the equal sign, then type variance and select the variance for sample here, as we are using a sample. Double click on that and then select the range for the data for the question number 1 and hit the enter key. A value is generated which represents the variance for this item or question. To auto-fill and auto-calculate the variance for the rest of the items and also the total score, select, hold, drag toward this cell. The software will automatically calculate and fill the value for the variance for each individual item and the variance for the total score. Now we have managed to determine the value for the lower part of this formula. The next step is to add the variance for the 20 items or questions. And the way to do that, in this cell, select the cell here, click on sum, and then select the value for the variance for the 20 items. Hit the enter key, a value is generated here. For the total score variance, going to select this value, right click, copy, and I'm going to place it here, and then right click, and I'm going to select the link, so to keep the link. A value is generated here which is similar to the variance for the total score. K here is the total number of the items or questions, and in this case there are 20 questions. Now we have all the components of the formula already being calculated, the value for this component. Next step is to determine the Cronbach's alpha value, and the way to do that is to insert an equal sign here, then open a bracket, add 20 here, divided by 19, and then close the bracket, then insert a multiplication sign, open a bracket, insert number 1, insert minus sign, select the upper part of the formula value for the sum of the variance for the items, this one, divide, and then insert a division sign, which is this one, and then select the lower part, which is the total score variance, and then close the bracket and hit the enter key. A value of 0.9 is generated. if I want to increase the decimal to decimal point, I will get a value of 0.94. What does this value mean? It means that this survey or questionnaire is 94% reliable. Using this value and referring to the table given here, any value for alpha that has a value of 0.9 or greater is considered to be an excellent reliability. This is the way to determine and calculate the reliability for a survey that consists of a 2-point Likert scale using the Cronbach's alpha formula given here in Excel.